The FPS genre is one of the biggest in the industry. But which game is a definitive one? Is it Doom? Wolfenstein? Well, I guess let's see if Doom 2 is as good as everyone says it is. So let's launch Doom 2 and see what I've been missing out on for all these years. Oh, MS-DOS. Sweet MS-DOS. Now I'm born a few years after MS-DOS was even relevant anymore, but I still understand how it was a golden age in the years before 1998. Holy shit, my mouse pointer is having a seizure. I know that MS-DOS doesn't work very well with Windows 8, but how am I supposed to make retro reviews if you guys can't get along? Oh god. Oh god, I'm not talking about this. About this. 13 FPS is not idle for a first-person shooter. Let's have a look at Wolfenstein 3D, the first FPS game ever made. 1992. The birth year of my sister, and the first FPS game ever made. Joking aside though, I really appreciate the impact games like these had on the industry. Because without these games, my favorite game of all time wouldn't have been my favorite game of all time. And that game is BioShock. Well, BioShock game will I find it hard to choose between them because I think BioShock is great. In fact, so great I bought the game 3 times. I bought it retail once for PC, one used copy for the PS3, and on Steam, because it's Steam.
And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are.
On the outside, it might seem like BioShock has a very simple plot, but there's so much to it than that. Our main character is Jack. He's in a plane, he crashes in the Atlantic Ocean, and he finds himself under the sea. And then there's an Irish fellow who follows you around and he talks to you. But there's way more stuff to the plot than that. But nevertheless, the story is the highlight in the entire game. At least in my opinion. The story always moves on and never stops being interesting. And the sense of progression is nothing less than great. And that is mostly because you unlock weapon and plasmas along the way. And with a great atmosphere, a very intimidating quote-unquote villain, what's not to like? You all now know that BioShock 1 is my favorite game of all time. But what about some other games this video could have been about? I've assembled 5 other YouTubers and good friend of mine to come and guest here in this video, and they shall talk about their favorite games of all time. First one out is Fumecom and his favorite game of all time, Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii.
Why is Super Mario Galaxy my favorite game ever made? Simple. This single game perfected the previously flawed category of Mario games in the third dimension. While 64 was a technical marvel for its time and Sunshine had FLUDD, looking back on both of these games, they have an extreme lack of precision in terms of controls. Galaxy, however, has no problems in this area. You can try landing ambitious jumps and have full confidence in it because you truly feel that you're in full control of Mario the whole time. The level design might have become a bit more linear, but to make up for that, there's a huge variety of different and interesting planets to discover, as well as the prankster comets, which added fun challenges to environments the game already got you familiar with. I love 3D platformers, but sometimes I have an issue when they put in way too many different collectibles, as instead of enjoying running around and just having fun as I try to accomplish my main goal, I have to tediously look around every corner of the stage to get one item usually hidden in a cryptic spot. Fortunately, Galaxy throws that convention out the window, as all you have to worry about is getting the power stars at the end of each mission, so you won't have to worry about missing anything important from simply walking 2 feet in front of you. The game isn't perfect though, as it can bring in some slightly irritating segments that rely on motion control, but these are few and far between. When it comes to the standard platforming that takes up the rest of the game, I have no criticisms at all. This was the only Wii game I owned for a long time, but it was so brilliant that I didn't really need any other games. Well, except this one. I could go on and on and on about this game. There's so much to praise about it. Its beautiful visuals that still hold up today, its amazing orchestrated soundtrack, but eventually, doing so would become redundant, as you can only use so many synonyms to describe a near-perfect game. It's such a shame that the overall genre of 3D adventure platformers is pretty much dead, because if we can get a game like this, who knows what other developers are capable of. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fumecom signing off. Thank you, Jonas, for having me on.
Man, I really want to try Super Mario Galaxy, but I never owned a Wii U or a Wii, so... Oh no. But who cares? But what is it that makes BioShock into my favorite game of all time among the other mountains of awesome and great FPS games? The most memorable aspect of BioShock for me was Andrew Ryan and Atlas, because the writing is marvelous. If I could marry a voice talent, it would probably be Armin Shimmerman's or Troy Baker's, because wow, they make some very good choices. God damn it, is Andrew Ryan a likable villain? Andrew Ryan is hands down my all-time favorite video game character, but Atlas is not far behind. But what about our main character, Jay? What about him? Is he cool? Does he have any personality? Is he charismatic? Is he a hero? Is he a dog? This is where I like BioShock games much more. Because they don't have a fucking silent protagonist, because the protagonist is boring, they don't talk, they're not good. But it kinda works.
Yes, a silent protagonist can work very well, but more in a game like Dark Souls and in Call of Duty, you know. But what I hate even more is when characters are totally one-sided and don't have any personality whatsoever, or what's Far Cry 4? But what's the one unique thing about BioShock? Well, I'll tell you. It's the plasmas, basically it's superpowers. Flying through ring, you get fire, the telekinesis lifting up, lightning is Dark City.
Favorite game? But there's so many. Majora's Mask, Silent Hill, Infamous, Bomberman, Earthbound. Bomberman.
Oh! Katamari Damacy? Yeah, sure. Good day, good evening, good morning, or good night, complete strangers. And after weeks of just researching, looking up games, going through my vast collection of games, and doing pretty much nothing else, I'm horribly dressed. I have finally been able to narrow down what my debatably all-time favorite game is. Now keep in mind that this is maybe not my all-time favorite game. In fact, in some ways, I'm sure in time my all-time favorite game will change. This sort of thing fluctuates, but for the time being, this is the one game that I consider to be my favorite right now. For you see, in my vast library of PS2 games, between the Solid Snakes and the Silent Hill 2s, there exists a single solitary game that I think is the most fun.
Katamari Damacy is one of those games that prides itself in creative game design. Centered entirely around the concept of picking shit up, the game makes something as simple as a fucking room adventurous and magical. Well, alright, maybe not exactly magical. It's a game with a personality that's yet to be matched. I mean, how many games do you know of that have shit like that in it? The exact moment that got me into Katamari Damacy is when I played the first level. Nothing special, all the usual stuff, just grabbing shit and gluing it to my ball. Pack, tack, pack. Oh! But it was then that I moved on to the second level. The setting is different, but I don't care. I just want to explore this terrain some more. Grab some more stuff, go over this table, and wait! That's the same table. That's the same fucking table! Maybe it was just me, but having multiple stages take place in other parts of the map and having their design and challenge vary on what size you are, that is just beyond amazing to me. On the surface, this seems like a pretty silly-ass game about picking stuff up for your bossy alcoholic father, and that's pretty much it. But what makes this game so worth it is the emotion it brings. It's happy, it's optimistic, even in the face of horrible situations. And above all else, what it does is what I ask of every single game, and that's be memorable. And trust me, I am never, ever, ever going to forget about this.
good day, good evening, good morning, or good night, complete strangers. And you all can go back over to Jonas. As for me, I need to make up for a couple of weeks of research. Need to get fucking changed. Need to shower. Need to vacuum this place. Need to feed my nutcrackers. They ate each other. That's what hunger does to you. Take care, guys.
But what are we missing here? Ah, I know. We haven't talked about the story yet. What the fuck, man? So, the plot. You're underwater. And at first we meet Atlas and he is all cool and oh, and I got some Byron shit, mate.
Oh, how nice of you.
And we were informed that he's looking for his family and has to get them out of Rapture. Oh, the horror. But hear me out, fellow Americans. I'm not American, but I digress. The plot is very deep because the plot develops along with the game, and I don't know if I want to spoil it in case you haven't played it yet, but you know what? Fuck it. The game's 8 years old. I'll spoil the shit out of it. No, I won't spoil the shit out of it. Just go and grab a cocoa, and if you don't want to be spoiled, then jump to this point in the video, and I will make an annotation. Just remind me of it. So, at first, we think our mission is to rescue Atlas's family, but Andrew Ryan kills them.
Say what? Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel this paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in?
He blows up the submarine that they're supposed to be. And I wanna know why. I suppose you'll find out later, you stupid little shit. And Atlas has... And he wants us to kill Andrew Ryan.
Ain't that just like Ryan? Waits until we're almost out, then he pulls the string. We'll find the bastard. We'll find him and we'll tear his heart out.
Calm the fuck down! Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around.
Like Handsome Jack, Andrew Ryan talks to you through the game, and it's... But what do we get to do on our way to Andrew Ryan? Well, a lot. We get to meet a lot of characters, we get to fight a lot of cool... bosses. I don't want to talk about it. And yeah, the bosses in this game is like... It's just one singular thing I really don't like about the BioShock. It's fucking... The bosses sucks. They're just regular enemies with more health. That's it. And then there's the characters, and the characters, they are interesting because they're not very fleshed out, but they're fleshed out enough, and they are there for the plot, and that's really all that the side characters should be. It's a bit for the plot. It should be there singularly for the plot and to make it move on in the story and everything. It shouldn't just be filler like in... And most of them are actually very, very, very interesting. Like Sander Cohen, that other one, and the other one, and Andrew Ryan. Then we have
The obligatory moral choice system.
because reasons. And the obligatory moral choice system works like this. When you save little sisters from big daddies, you can choose to either harvest or rescue them. Harvesting them will grant you more Adam, thus great tasks who pop a lot. But you can rescue them and be a good boy and, you know, and of course this affects the ending, but it's none of that heavy rain bullshit with like 19 endings. And the moral choice system works very well within the game story and the endings, and well, the ending is not that different, and well, yeah, that's about it. And really, all of this game is near perfection for me. It's my favorite game of all time, and that's it.
Oh, you Norwegians. You're so silly. Oh! Oh, there. What was I supposed to do again?
You're guest starring in a Craft Mine video where you're supposed to talk about one of your favorite games.
Oh yeah! Since Craft Mine has already talked about one of my favorite games, which is BioShock, I thought I could talk about one of my other favorite games. Right to Hell Retribution is one of the greatest games ever made. And you better f***ing know it, bitch. Because if you don't, then you don't know shit about video games. This game has f***ing everything that you would ever want in a pitch perfect video game. I mean, look at these graphics. They're not next gen, they're above next gen. They're godlike. These are the type of graphics that every game developer dreams of accomplishing. People be talking about bugs and shit in this video game. What you talking about? What bugs? This ain't no f***ing Bugs Life, bro. And the combat system is f***ing revolutionary. People in the future will look back at this shit and say, this is where everything changed. Everything. And the voice acting is some of the finest in any video game so far. And I'm pretty damn sure that there will never be any voice actor that can top this shit right here.
And who the fuck are you supposed to be?
I think you've got a ring that doesn't belong to you.
You tell that bitch she can have it when I'm dead.
I might be able to help you with that.
Troy Baker can suck d***. And the story, man. The story in this game is deeper than the Falu Koppargruva. It's deeper than all of the Tumblr poetry. It's f***ing deeper than the hole that I dug in the backyard yesterday. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is f***ing deep. I mean, check this shit out. The story is about a guy whose brother gets killed, and this badass motherfucker goes out to kill every son of a bitch out there that had anything to do with his brother's death. F***ing A, man. That's some deep shit right there. This game is pure f***ing perfection, I tell you. And if you can think of any game that is better than this game, except for BioShock, then you're out of your f***ing mind. And not only did Ethos Nix create this one masterpiece of a game, their whole library of video games is a f***ing goldmine. Hidden gems like Pimp My Ride, Big Mother Truckers, and 007 Racing. Boom goes the dynamite, baby. Boom goes the dynamite. So that was one of my favorite games of all time. What do you think, mysterious person I totally don't know? What the fuck?